all the women, or rather, the witches. They were now sitting motionless in their chairs and staring, as though hypnotized at somebody who had suddenly appeared on the platform. That somebody was another woman. The first thing I noticed about this woman was her size. She was tiny, probably no more than 4.5 feet tall. She looked quite young, I guess about 25 or 6, and she was very pretty. She had on a rather stylish, long black dress that reached right to the ground, and a pair of black gloves that came up to her elbows. Unlike the others, she wasn't wearing a hat. She didn't look to me like a witch at all. But she couldn't possibly not be one. Otherwise, what on earth was she doing up there on that platform? And why, for heaven's sake, all the other witches gazing at her with such a mixture of adoration, awe, and fear? Very slowly, the young lady on the platform raised her hands to her face. I saw her gloved fingers unhooking something behind her ears, and then she got hold of her cheeks and lifted her face clean away. The whole of that pretty face came away right in her hands. It was a mask. As children, what are we afraid of? Is it the dark, ducks, broccoli? I think this man had just the right idea while writing this book. Entitled The Witches, the book explores a young boy and his experiences witnessing a grand meeting of witches from all over England who plan to exterminate them. Exterminate the children, to be precise, by transforming them into mice and tricking the adults from all over the country into stamping them out. This is Roald Dahl's The Witches. As she took off the mask, she turned sideways and placed it carefully upon a small table nearby. And when she turned round again and faced us, I very nearly screamed out loud. That face of hers was the most frightful and frightening thing I've ever seen. Just looking at it gave me the shakes all over. So shrunken and shriveled, crumpled and wizened, it looked as though it had been pickled in vinegar. It was a fearsome and ghastly sight. There's something terribly wrong with it, something foul and putrid and decayed. There are times when something is so frightful you become mesmerized by it, and you can't just look away. I was like that now. I was transfixed, numbed, magnetized by the sheer horror of this woman's features. But there was more to it than that. I knew immediately, of course, that this was none other than the Grand High Witch herself. "The doors," shouted the Grand High Witch. "Are they chained and bolted?" "The doors are chained and bolted, your grandness," answered a voice in the audience. "You may remove your gloves." Everyone in the room was peeling off her gloves. I was watching the hands of those in the back row. I wanted very much to see what their fingers looked like, and whether my grandmother had been right about them. I could see several of them now. I could see the brown claws curving over the tips of fingers. "You may remove your shoes." I heard a sigh of relief going up from all the witches in the room as they kicked off their narrow high-heeled shoes. And then I got a glimpse into the chairs of several pairs of stockinged feet, square and completely toeless. "You may remove your wigs. Remove your wigs and get some fresh air into your spotty scalps." Another sigh of relief arose from the audience as all the hands went up to the heads, and all the wigs, with the hats still on them, were lifted away. There now appeared in front of me, row upon row of bald female heads, a sea of naked scalps, every one of them red and itchy-looking from being rubbed by the linings of the wigs. Oh heavens, I thought. Oh help! Oh Lord, have mercy on me. These foul, bald-headed females are child-killers, every one of them. Every one of them. And here I am in prison in the same room, and I can't escape. "Witches of England! Witches of England!" The audience stirred uneasily and sat up straighter in their chairs. "Miserable witches, useless, lazy witches, feeble, feebling witches, you're heap, idle, good for nothing. Well. A shudder went through the audience. The Grand High Witch was clearly in an ugly mood, and they knew it. I had a feeling that something awful was going to happen soon. I'm having my breakfast this morning, and I'm looking out the window at the beach. And what am I seeing? I'm asking you. What am I seeing? I'm seeing a revolting sight. I'm seeing hundreds. I'm seeing thousands of rotten, repulsive little children playing on the sand. Why have you not got rid of them? Why have you not rubbed them all out? These filthy, smelly children. I'm asking you why. Nobody answered her question. Children smell. They stink out the bulb. We do not want these children around here. One child a week is no good to me. Is this the best that you can do? We will do better, murmured the audience. We will do much, much better. Better is no good either. I demand maximum results. So here are my orders. My orders are that every single child in this country shall be rubbed out, squashed, squirted, spitted, and frittered before I come here again in 1 year's time. Do I make myself clear? A great gasp roared from the audience. I saw the witches all looking at one another with deeply troubled expressions. And I heard one witch at the end of the front row saying aloud, "All of them. We can't possibly wipe out all of them." The Grand High Witch whipped round as though someone had stuck a skewer into her bottom. "Who said that? Who dares to argue with me? It was you, was it not?" "I didn't mean it, Your Grandness. I didn't mean to argue. I was just talking to myself." "You dare to argue with me?" "I was just talking to myself. I swear it, Your Grandness." The Grand High Witch took a quick step forward, and when she spoke again, it was in a voice that made my blood run cold. "A stupid witch who answers back must burn till her bones are black." "No, no," the Grand High Witch went on. "A foolish witch without a brain must sizzle in the fiery flame." "Save me." An idiotic witch like you must roast upon the barbecue." "Forgive me, oh, Your Grandness." "A witch who dares to say, 'I'm wrong,' will not be with us very long." A moment later, a stream of sparks that looked like tiny white hot metal filings came shooting out of the Grand High Witch's eyes and flew against the one who had dared to speak. I saw the sparks striking against her and burrowing right into her. She screamed a horrible howling scream, and a puff of smoke rose up around her. A smell of burning meat filled the room. Nobody moved. A great sigh rose up from the audience. The Grand High Witch glared around the room. "I hope nobody else is going to make me cross today." There was a deathly silence. "Frizzled like a fritter, cooked like a carrot. You will never see her again. So now, let's get down to business."